Hello, everyone, and welcome to Toronto here on the Virtual Jays Network. Jackson Farrell alongside Drew Frank in the broadcast booth to call this one between the Minnesota Twins and the Toronto Blue Jays. The first of a three-game set as the Twins, 10-6 Twins, coming off a sweep of the White Sox on the south side, come into Toronto for what should be a very exciting set between two teams who've had two pretty good starts to the year, and we're going to see Matt Shoemaker in this one today for the Jays.
And Shoemaker himself has had a phenomenal start to the year. His ERA and his whip looking almost like the exact same number, an 0.84 ERA for him so far. And it's going to be a tough task because these Minnesota Twins sure can hit.
Yeah, what a team these Twins have. We're going to see it over the course of these three games. On this Monday night in Toronto, first pitch, and we are underway here. As that is a bunt attempt fouled back off the screen by Jorge Polanco, playing shortstop today, and of course leading off. So we are underway. And Polanco takes outside for ball one.
Shoemaker's looked really strong in each of his three outings, and he's been all around the plate, attacking on the corners and not messing around and walking too many batters.
Swung on and fouled off there, so he gets ahead in the count now, 1-2. Yeah, Shoemaker's been excellent. You mentioned his ERA looking similar to his whip. And as a veteran on this Jays staff and kind of been the number two starter, as that one is flown over the head of Biggio at second, so we'll get into the field for a leadoff single for Polanco here.
Quick start to the night for the Twins offense. That one hit nicely, jumping attempt there by Biggio, but he'll have no chance, and the speedy leadoff man Polanco is aboard.
And now we'll see Max Kepler playing first base this season, as that one is a wild pitch. Jansen is able to corral it and throw over to first. But yes, Kepler kind of more of a regular first baseman now with the Twins. He was predominantly a right fielder in his career out of Berlin, Germany. Takes in the inside part of the plate for strike one.
And the reason he's over at first base this year is because of the addition of Blue Jays' former fan favorite, Josh Donaldson, over at third base. That forces the whole infield to shift around. Now Sano is DHing, which forces Nelson Cruz back out into the field. So Cruz not seeing too much time DHing this year. He's in right field most nights. He's got the night off tonight. But now with him in right field, that takes away where Kepler roamed for his Twins career coming into 2020, and he's transitioned more into first base.
And there were rumblings that perhaps Miguel Sano would be the one moving to first, and Kepler would stay in right. But for now, second-year manager Rocco Baldelli, manager of the year last year, decides to go with Sano as a DH and Kepler at first with Marwin Gonzalez in right, at least in this one. That one swung on, fouled off down the third base line. Full count now to Kepler.
Gonzalez is there tonight, but on most nights, Cruz, he's already appeared in 11 games in right field. He hasn't touched the field since 2018, has been DHing a lot, and even back in 2018, only 8 games there.
And a strikeout swinging from Max Kepler. Shoemaker getting him there on that, what appeared to be a fastball.
Fastball in on the hands of Kepler. Doesn't quite get around in time. A little bit too late to make contact. And first batter retired of the night for Shoemaker comes via the strikeout.
So now one away for Reyes as he hits that one over to first. A quick play there. A line out to Shaw. So now 2 away. He went to apply the tag to Polanco, who was able to dive to first in time. And now Miguel Sano.
And he sure squared that ball up. Pulls it hard right down the line, but Shaw holding the runner on first base. He was right there for it. Potentially, if Shaw wasn't holding a runner and a little shaded towards second base, that might have been extra bases, but tough break there for Reyes as he's retired.
So now we'll see the designated hitter, Miguel Sano, the cleanup hitter today for the Twins. On an 8-game hitting streak, had a tremendous start to this season. As he swings on that offering there, high in the zone from Shoemaker. Evens up the count at 1. So Sano, a guy who last year had Achilles surgery in March of 2019, so he missed a good chunk of the start of the season. And he currently leads the American League with 8 home runs, turns 27 in May. Swings and misses, takes a deep cut on that inside fastball from Shoemaker on the hands there. The 2-2. Swung on right back, hits Shoemaker. And that one goes down the line. Jansen fields and throws, but not in time. And Shoemaker was down on that play. Looks like he'll be okay, though.
Very scary sight, especially only on the third batter of the night here. Shoemaker gets that right off of the body, but he'll stay in the game here.
So an infield single for Sano. So now 2 on and 2 out for Josh Donaldson, 2015 MVP. Spent 3+ seasons here in Toronto. He's, of course, traded to Cleveland back in 2018 in an injury-riddled season. But the fans sure know him well as he fouls off that first outside offering from Shoemaker.
You could hear the reception he got stepping up to the batter's box. Cheers all around the stadium. He was beloved during his time here, and it's not his first time back to Rogers Center, but he'll always get that reception.
That one gets away from Jansen. The runners are able to advance. So early on here, Drew, we're seeing a couple pitches get away from Jansen. Shoemaker looking a little wild in the first here. And now we got 2 runners in scoring position for Josh Donaldson, who hit 37 home runs last year in Atlanta. He drills that one into right center. And Grichuk is able to get underneath it and make the play. So a couple runners get into scoring position for the Twins, but none of them are able to score as we head to the bottom of the first here on the virtual Jays Network. Well, everyone, and welcome back to Rogers Center here for the bottom of the first. We're going to see Jake Odorizzi make his 4th start of the season.
And he's a guy that the Twins are looking to count on for a bit better than he's done so far this year. 5.68 ERA across his outings so far. He had a bit of a better start in his last appearance than his previous 2. He comes in on the season with that 1-1 record, picked up the no decision, throwing 5 innings of 1-run ball, where he struck out 5 and allowed 7 hits and pulled before he was able to get a quality start.
And it'll be Bo Bichette leading off for the Blue Jays today, playing shortstop. Had a very, very slow start to the season, hitting just 143. Yesterday, in the final game of the series against the Royals, had 3 strikeouts, going 0 for 3. So a very slow start to the season at the plate for the young Blue Jays, well, now Major League prospect. What's going on with him? Why such a slow start at the plate?
It's just he hasn't been able to get those solid swings in, and he's been chasing a fair bit more than we see from him usually.
As he grounds that one over to first base, Kepler there to field it and make the play. So the leadoff hitter is retired for the Blue Jays, and you know it's very interesting because Bichette, a guy who I think a lot of people pin to have a very big year, and obviously that's still possible. We're just in mid-April, but definitely not the start he or Blue Jays fans were looking for. Although it hasn't hurt the Blue Jays too much yet in terms of the win column, as they are, as I mentioned, 11-5 on the year. And now we'll see Kevin Biggio, who's had a good start to this season. He's playing second base and hitting number 2 as per usual this season.
Just continuing on Bichette, a bad sign for me is all 3 strikeouts came on 3 different pitches. One, he was an inside fastball, then he chased an outside fastball, and in his first at-bat, he expanded the zone trying to fish out the slider in the dirt. And that's telling me that there's not one flaw here that pitchers are exploiting. It's just he's not on his game and his timing's off, and could be something with his eye at the plate that's not quite in mid-season form yet.
Be very interesting to see how Bichette can react to that and how potentially he can turn this season around. As Biggio strikes out there, Odorizzi's first K of the day, swinging.
And he gets him on a fastball there. He has an interesting mix of pitches because he'll rely on his fastball a lot, and against a lefty like Biggio, we saw him mix in a cutter there that will break in on the lefty's hands. So he's got the fastball cutter. He can also throw a splitter similar to Shoemaker. His is a little bit slower with a bit less break than Shoemaker's, but he complements it with a big curveball that you see there.
And a big swing and a miss from Gurriel Jr. back in the lineup today, playing left field. The 0-2 swung on over to first, Kepler Fields, and touches the bag, makes the play. So 3 up, 3 down in the first inning for Odorizzi and the Twins. So we'll head to the second inning, scoreless in Toronto. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Rogers Center, Virtual Jays Network. Jackson Farrell and Drew Frank in the booth calling this one. So next up, we will see the number 6 hitter for the Twins, Eddie Rosario, playing left field today. In his 6th season in Major League Baseball, 1 for 9 in his career against Shoemaker.
Well, that was not just a single, that was a 3-run home run. So 1 for 9, but when it mattered, he came up with a big home run against Shoemaker back in 2018.
And a 2-0 count, now 3-0 count to Shoemaker as he takes high. So defensively, the Twins today are set up with Rosario in left, Marwin Gonzalez in right field, he's on deck. Willians Astudillo, we'll see him in this inning as well, playing center field today. Alex Avila catching, and then Jorge Polanco, who singled in the first, playing shortstop. Max Kepler at first, Luis Reyes at second base, and Josh Donaldson at third with Miguel Sano DHing, as per usual, to start this season. As Rosario takes to make this count full now, 2 strikes and 3 balls.
And the 3 outfielders that are due up here, a bit of a different look of an outfield. We mentioned Cruz gets the day off. So does Byron Buxton, who's not in center field today.
Rosario takes low and inside for a leadoff walk here to kick things off in the second inning. So Shoemaker has already allowed 3 base runners in this game. And now he'll see Marwin Gonzalez, who's had a great start to this year. 3 home runs already and a .313 average for the switch hitter.
Something I think that's surprising about Gonzalez being in the lineup against Shoemaker is that Cruz, who he's in for, actually has the most at-bats against Shoemaker of any hitter in the majors right now. He's got 31 at-bats against Shoemaker, largely because of his time spent in that AL West when Shoemaker was an Angel. His 31 at-bats, he's hitting 8 for 31, but he's got 2 home runs, and he's hit them pretty decently throughout his career, but gets the day off today.
So his replacement Gonzalez in an 0-2 count takes high, ball 1. And Gonzalez, a very versatile player, spent majority of his career in Houston before coming over to Minnesota prior to last season.
And they've got a bit of that in this team. Not just Gonzalez, Astudillo, who's in center field, can play all around the infield and the outfield as well, even behind the plate. And then they've got Are Adrianza on the bench as a third guy that can do that kind of utility player role.
a free agent to be, and he swings and misses there on that middle offering. 2 strikeouts now for Shoemaker, 1 away in this inning.
And that's the splitter that we saw from his counterpart picking up a strikeout as Odorizzi used that splitter just this past inning to strike out Biggio over the heart of the plate that gets a swing and miss. And now Shoemaker does the exact same thing. It catches a lot of the plate, but as he was geared up for the fastball, the change in the splitter gets him.
Astudillo drills that one in the left field, but it just sails foul. A major cut there. A beautiful swing from Astudillo, who's hitting .250 to start this season. And quite the folk hero in Minnesota. The 0-1, a big swing and a miss there. Playing center field today, the number 8 hitter takes low and away, ball 1.
Well, La Tortuga, as he's known, someone that's going to put the bat on the ball a lot, rarely strikes out and rarely walks.
A very versatile player as well, can play catcher, third base, first base, and he flies out to right field. Now 2 away here in the second for the Twins, with Alex Avila, the number 9 hitter, set to come up to the plate now.
And seeing him in center field today is a pretty different look than what you usually expect from Astudillo. Not necessarily the most established center fielder. He's been there so far a couple times in his career. I mean, he's played 1 single inning in 2018, but played some outfield in 2019, and not the first time he's been there this year, as there's no true backup to play center when Buxton gets the day off as he's getting tonight.
Yeah, that center field spot in terms of the backup position, still a work in progress, but Astudillo has the job for now in terms of the backup position. It'll be Alex Avila, the backup catcher for the Twins, in a 2-0 count, 2011 All-Star and Silver Slugger with the Tigers. Of course, lots of ties to the Tigers. His father, Al Avila, the executive vice president of baseball ops and the general manager now of the Detroit Tigers, actually traded him. And Avila takes inside, but still touching the strike zone there to even up the count at 2 now. Trying to keep this inning alive for the Twins. Swings on that one, fouls it off.
You think that's an awkward Thanksgiving? Right after the father trades the son?
Yeah, never personal, as they say. The 2-2. Swung on and missed there. A couple strikeouts in this inning for Matt Shoemaker after allowing a leadoff walk. Shuts down the next 3 hitters, so we head to the bottom of the second, remaining scoreless on the virtual Jays Network. Welcome back to the Rogers Center. First game of a 3-game set between the Twins and the Blue Jays. We thank you for joining us today. Jackson Farrell alongside Drew Frank in the booth as Jake Odorizzi gets set for his second inning of work. And Randall Grichuk steps in, hitting .357 in his last 8 games and .341 on the season, takes ball 1 outside.
And that's why he's up in the cleanup spot tonight. He's started the season down a little bit lower. He batted 7th on opening day, but he's continued to just show signs that he's here and he's going to have a bit of a bounce back season in 2020 after failing to reach base quite often in 2019.
Takes high and inside from ball number 2. Yeah, great start to the season for Grichuk, and Charlie Montoya decides to reward him, and giving him the cleanup spot in the lineup today. Swings and misses on that low fastball from Odorizzi. Evens up the count at 2 now. And then takes outside for ball number 3. So a full count now to the leadoff hitter in this inning, Grichuk. And back in center after a day off yesterday. Swings on that low offering. Count remains full here.
A nice battle by Grichuk. Works it full, and we'll see what he does with this payoff pitch.
Swing and a miss there. Odorizzi gets him on the low fastball for his second strikeout on the day and retires the leadoff hitter here.
Looked like that would have been ball 4 that he goes out and gets right around the knees, but looked a little off the black, just outside. Nonetheless, the swing and miss will make it 4 up, 4 down now for Odorizzi.
And Grichuk, a guy who does have a pretty high strikeout rate. You know, oftentimes he's a pop or K kind of guy. And so you don't mind a strikeout from Grichuk, especially with the way he's been hitting to start this year. And Vlad Guerrero Jr. also having a good start to his season. Moved down a little bit in the lineup today. The number 5 hole. Takes high for ball number 2. Now in a bit of a hitter's count here. And he takes that fastball away. So now a 3-0 count to the number 5 hitter playing third base today, Guerrero Jr. Went 0 for 3 yesterday.
And 2 of those 3 outs via the strikeout swinging on high fastballs, both up at the top of the zone, and he wasn't able to keep up with them. And we weren't seeing a ton of heat yesterday. Lopez was sitting around 94, 95, but his ability to change speeds was what got these Jays hitters often late on those heaters.
11 strikeouts on the day for the Blue Jays yesterday. As that one is driven down into right field, but it'll sail foul. The payoff pitch to Guerrero Jr. Taken low, so it'll be a walk with 1 away for Brandon Drury, the designated hitter now, hitting number 6 today in this little renovated Blue Jays lineup. Now, he's had a really good start to the year. Been one of the bright spots in the bottom part of the lineup for the Jays with, Hernandez and Travis Shaw both struggling, along with the guys like Derek Fisher and Anthony Alford. Brandon Drury, not the case for him. He's got 2 home runs, 7 RBI on the year, and he's hitting close to 300. So takes a first pitch strike from Odorizzi on that fastball.
We've seen Montoyo showing willingness to get creative with his lineup a little bit. Nice block there by Avila, but what I mean by that is yesterday we saw Jansen in the 3 hole all the way up near the top of the order, and tonight he's back down in the 9 hole where he started on opening day. So there's just been movement all around as different guys have stepped up and different guys haven't quite delivered yet.
And Drury, a guy who has so far. We'll see what he can do now with a runner on first, Vlad Guerrero Jr. in a 2-1 count. Swung on in the left center field. Estevio makes the play and throws it in. So 2 away now.
And next it'll be Travis Shaw, the guy on this Jays team that has the most experience against Odorizzi. Nothing overly impressive so far. He's 5 for 19 in his career, but the big stat there is he's got 9 strikeouts in those 19 at-bats.
Shaw steps in, checks his swing on a low off-speed offering from Odorizzi. Shaw hitting just 140 to start this year as that one's driven into deep right field. Gonzalez ranging back, and on the warning track, he makes the catch for the third out of this inning. That sure was a close one. So Shaw takes Odorizzi for a ride, but to no avail. So we head to the third, scoreless in Toronto. Welcome back to Toronto. Jays hosting the Minnesota Twins, the first game of a three-game set here. And Jorge Polanco steps into the box now, 1-for-1 on the day, single to lead off the game. So Shoemaker already up to 42 pitches now. Gets started here in the third. Gets in there for a first pitch strike and just misses away. Evens up the count at 1 now.
That was the first of two singles in the first. Shoemaker, despite allowing the two runners, able to settle things down and induce a flyout, but looked like the Twins were poised to strike early as he really sparked things off with that single.
101 wins last season for the Minnesota Twins in their first year under manager Rocco Baldelli. As that one is hit into shallow right, and Shaw ranges back, makes the play. One away now to start off the third inning, but you take a look at the AL East, I mean, the Jays out front, only by 2.5, still very early on. We see Tampa and Baltimore both really struggling to start this season.
And the Yankees, you may not look at it with their winning records as a struggle, but they've now dropped 4 in a row after that series where they looked pretty strong hosting Toronto just a few series ago. They got swept by Oakland this weekend and then lost again today in their opener against the Rangers. So a tough look from the Yankees, a team that struggled. Well, these Jays have picked up 3 in a row to pass them atop the East.
1-0 swung on and grounded up the middle. It'll be a base hit into left center for Kepler as he's able to advance to second now because of a bit of an error in left field. It'll be credited to Loris Gurriel Jr. after he was unable to field that ball cleanly, allowing Kepler, the number 2 hitter for the Twins, to reach second base. Now 1 away as Reyes swings on that one, drives it into center, but Grichuk is there to field. So lots happening there. Now 2 away, a runner on second for Miguel Sano.
That first little bobble from Gurriel is something we've seen too often now from this Blue Jays outfield. We saw it on the Saturday game as Grichuk allowed a runner to advance into second base by just fumbling what was otherwise a harmless single. Here we see it again. It wasn't overly too much pressure on Gurriel as didn't seem like Kepler was looking for a double, but then the second it gets bobbled out there, he knows he's got a chance, and yeah, now he's in scoring position for the AL home run king so far.
And a great opportunity for a power hitter in Sano. Big cut on that changeup, but whiffs on that. A 1-1 count. So the Twins looking to strike here in the third inning with 2 away. Slider misses low. So Sano now ahead in the count, 2-1.
And Sano lined it right back at Shoemaker in his last at-bat. Shoemaker hasn't shown any signs that's wearing on him at all, but it was scary nonetheless because Sano really got a piece of that one and drilled it right back to the mound. It's honestly pretty lucky that everyone's okay after that.
Especially for a guy like Shoemaker who's had major injuries in his career and in the late stages of his career, trying to preserve as much health as you possibly can. And a full count now to Sano, the designated hitter, in the cleanup spot for the Twins today. Payoff pitch. Swung on, fouled back. Count remains full.
Nice battle here by Sano, just needing to poke anything into the outfield. Kepler's got a bit of speed, and he's running on contact with 2 out.
That one is taken on the inside part of the plate for a strike. Sano doesn't like it, but it'll be a strikeout to get Shoemaker out of this inning. So has a runner in scoring position, but nothing happens because of it. We head to the bottom of the third scoreless on the Virtual Jays Network. Welcome back to Toronto. Teoscar Hernandez hitting .191 to start the season. Will step to the plate for the first time today. He's back in right field after some time spent in center yesterday. It didn't go that well. He was charged with an error. Also hit a triple in yesterday's game, however, and drove in an RBI, ultimately turned into the game-winning run. As he swings on that one, fouls it off. 0-2 count now.
Well, he just missed a home run on that triple. It bounced on the warning track and carried quite a bit, but in a 1-0 game, anytime you drive in the sole run, you're the hero for the day, as Teoscar Hernandez was yesterday.
And he'll slot back down to the number 8 spot today. And a big cut there, swing and a miss. Hernandez strikes out to start off the third inning.
And we've said it a number of times, that is the one hole in this Jays lineup, is the strikeout is going to be a major weapon against them. The Twins are a bit more of a contact-focused team. We mentioned Astudillo doesn't strike out very much, neither does Reyes, and that's something that you can see as a pretty noticeable difference between the two teams. And both pitchers have looked good so far and picked up strikeouts. That's actually number 994 for Odorizzi. So maybe milestone watch, depending. He's going to have to really ramp it up to get it done today, but potentially on the table.
And what an achievement that would be for the 30-year-old. Odorizzi signing a one-year, $17.8 million qualifying offer with the Twins. He'll be a free agent after the season. It's his 7th full season, and man, this pitcher's been involved in some pretty major trades. It's part of the trade for Zach Greinke back when he was sent over to Milwaukee from Kansas City. Part of the package along with Lorenzo Cain, Alcides Escobar, and Jeremy Jeffress. So what a prospect package that was that Kansas City was able to net. Ultimately helped them win that World Series with Cain and Escobar playing major roles on that roster. And Odorizzi records another strikeout there on Jansen, the catcher. So 4 on the day for Odorizzi, back-to-back now.
And a quick note from our stats department, that 994 you saw on the screen was before coming into this game. So now that's his 4th on the day, and that brings him 2 away from the 1,000 mark in his career.
So he's got a real opportunity to do it in this start then. We may be witnessing some history here as that one paints the part of the plate, bottom part of the plate, I should say, on Bo Bichette, who's 0 for 1 on the day. Had 3 strikeouts yesterday, so Odorizzi is just licking his chops right now.
Tough for Bichette, who could use a break and not getting one from the umpire there.
Fouls it off down the first base line, now 0-2. And we mentioned earlier a tough start to the season for Bichette. The shortstop takes inside, ball 1. But back to Odorizzi, yeah, so he's, last year he put up a 3.51 ERA. He was an all-star for the first time in his career in 159 innings pitched. Went 15-7. And another strikeout for Odorizzi, so 3 strikeouts to strike out the side in this one. In the third, he is absolutely dealing at the moment. Hitless are the Jays as we head to the 4th on the virtual Jays Network. Welcome back to Toronto as Josh Donaldson, former Blue Jay, steps up to the plate. Flew out to center back in the first. He came up in the first inning with runners on first and second and obviously ended the inning with his out. He hit .241 to start this year. And swings on that first offering from Shoemaker. Now an 0-1 count. He's playing third today. Donaldson, of course, very good defensively, very diligent when it comes to his off-season routine, trying to stay in shape. As, all major leaguers are. But the 34-year-old signed a big 4-year, $92 million deal this past offseason. So he's going to be relied upon. And kind of the first big contract in his career. It's a big break, if you will. And he's got a lot of responsibility on this team. And a 1-2 count takes high, even up the count at 2.
And you talk about how he's staying active and staying sharp at that defensive corner. It speaks to the fact that despite he's 34 and 8 years older than Miguel Sano, he's the one that gets the defensive nod because, again, how sharp he stayed on defense.
There's that one flown out into right center field. Grichuk is there to make the play. So 2 flyouts on the day to center for Donaldson. And he is retired to lead off this inning now. So it'll be Eddie Rosario, the left fielder who walked the last time up.
And you see quickly there our tops pitch speed comparison. It goes beyond just the fastball. They're quite similar there, but even the whole makeup and approach of these two pitchers, again, goes beyond just that four-seamer. They both use their splitter a lot, and it's been a weapon we've seen quite often for the strikeout. Beyond that, the breaking ball is a little bit different, as Shoemaker's is more of a slider, while Odorizzi's a more traditional curveball, but lots of similarities between these two pitchers, and lots of similarities on that 0 on the scoreboard for both teams.
Shoemaker up to 62 pitches now in the 4th inning here. Misses outside, evens up the count at 1. As that one swung on and fouled off, so Rosario now behind in a 1-2 count. And Shoemaker's last start in Philly, it was a loss. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 earned runs allowed. 0 walks, however, and 6 strikeouts. So he was in control and hitting the zone, just got hit around a little bit in that one. As Rosario stays alive.
Rosario actually picked up MVP votes last year, finishing 18th in AL MVP votes, but the fact he got one, impressive in itself.
And he swings and misses on that high offering from Shoemaker. So the 5th strikeout on the day for the right-hander.
Nice work to use the fastball. We saw on our screen it's only going to sit somewhere between 93 to 95, but in modern baseball, that may not seem like so much with a lot of the flamethrowers, but it's the way he sets it up, because the splitter looks very similar coming into the hand in the same tunnel, but it's about 4 or 5 mile an hour slower, and then in addition to the off-speed and breaking pitches he throws, that heat looks a little hotter than the 95 it reads on the radar gun.
Gonzalez drills that down the first base line, foul. So a 1-1 count to the right fielder. Struck out back in the 2nd. Shoemaker looking to have a quick inning here. He's faced 4 batters in each of the first 3 innings. Pardon me, at least 4 batters. And now in a 3-1 count.
Gonzalez saw Shoemaker a fair amount as a result of his time spent with the Astros, both of them competing in the AL West. Shoemaker, a former Angel. As a result, he's faced him. This is his 20th plate appearance. He's now 5 for 18 with the strikeout earlier in the game, and now that's his 2nd walk against Shoemaker as well.
So he will take his base with 2 out. It'll be Willians Astudillo, who flew out to right back in the 2nd inning, playing center field. 5'9", 225. And he is, a very an anomaly in modern baseball, Drew. His swing, of course, his stance at the plate, a little interesting, and doesn't walk a lot, also doesn't strike out a lot, as you mentioned, back in the 2nd inning. And he's in a 1-1 count now to Shoemaker.
And a very stark contrast to their starting center fielder, Byron Buxton, who's just about your prototypical center fielder. He's going to hit for decent contact and a little bit of power, but it's his speed and his glove that really are what gets it done for him. And yeah, a very traditional center fielder as opposed to Astudillo you see here, which presents a different set of skills than you might expect.
Certainly right about that. And a 1-2 count, Astudillo takes outside. Excellent take by Astudillo. That sure was a close one, but he got the call. And takes outside low as well on that changeup. Now a full count to the center fielder. Shoemaker, this is his 78th pitch. Fouled off. Astudillo staying alive here.
Now the runner will be running once again. Full count and 2 out now.
Marwin Gonzalez, that runner at first. As Astudillo fouls off that middle in pitch down the third base line.
Shoemaker working pretty hard now. Deep counts his 80th pitch here.
And 3 straight foul balls now by Astudillo. Doing a great job of battling here. You can see why he doesn't strike out much. The payoff pitch from Shoemaker. That one driven into right field. Looks like Hernandez will get there and makes the play. So after a 2-0 walk, Shoemaker retires Astudillo to escape the fourth unscathed. We head to the bottom of the fourth. 2-3-4 hitters up for the Blue Jays. Welcome back to the Virtual Jays Network. Jackson Farrell on the call, joined by Drew Frank in the booth. So we'll see Cavan Biggio, who struck out in the first, against Odorizzi, who's up to 43 pitches now. Looking pretty good so far. He has, 5 strikeouts, 3 of which came in the third inning. He struck out the side. Starts off with a curveball. Low and inside to Biggio for strike 1.
Nice pitch to work ahead. Odorizzi so far has been a lot more efficient, almost at half of the pitch count that we've seen from Shoemaker. Of course, Shoemaker's worked an extra half inning, already pitching in the top of the fourth, but still a pretty big difference between the two.
1-1 taken outside by Biggio. That's splitter. Odorizzi, a guy who, free agent last year to be, decided to stick with the Twins. There was talk that maybe the Jays should try to go after him to bolster that rotation. Obviously, that was before the additions of Tanner Roark and Hyunjin Ryu, along with Chase Anderson. A good fit, Odorizzi is with the Twins. And gets a swing and a miss there from Biggio. Now a full count.
You mentioned he's been around the league in all sorts of big trades. He's been pretty successful everywhere he's gone.
Biggio takes high and in, so it'll be a leadoff walk for the young second baseman.
Definitely not the pitch Odorizzi was trying to throw there. That one never touched the zone at all. Changed up a breaking ball that started high and stayed high, missed the zone by a fair bit, and a guy like Biggio will not chase that one.
So there'll be a runner on and nobody out for Lourdes Gurriel Jr., left fielder, back in his usual 3-hole in the lineup. And, with all the movement in this lineup that Charlie Montoya has shown he's willing to do, moving Jansen up to the 3-hole, moving Brandon Drury around, moving Grichuk into the 4 spot. Gurriel Jr. struggling to start this season, hitting 192, no homers. Hitting in the 3-hole, do you think he moves around? And if so, where could he possibly hit other than the number 3 spot?
I don't think they want to move him down too much just because he does put together good at-bats at the plate, and he looks really good in 2019. He was just about their best hitter throughout the year. He missed time due to injuries, but when he was healthy, he looked really strong and still a young player. The Jays think they've got a little more from him than what he showed last year and a whole lot more than what he's shown so far, and he's going to need chances up in the order to prove that.
Fouls it off past the first base line. So a 2-2 count to the young Jays versatile outfielder slash infielder. Takes inside, and the throw to second is not in time. So Cavan Biggio gets a stolen base here.
Third steal on the season for the Jays. First steal on the season for Biggio. First one came from Anthony Alford, which probably could have been expected. The second steal from Vlad Guerrero Jr. I'm sure he would have rubbed that into Biggio and Bichette that he was the first of the three of them to grab a steal, but now Biggio joins the club.
As Guerrero Jr. pops that one right back up, Avila makes the play. So Guerrero Jr. retired, but now Cavan Biggio in scoring position for Randall Grichuk, who struck out back in the second. He's had a great year, as we've talked about, hitting above 300. He's got a chance here to add to this great season with a runner in scoring position. Takes inside right on the inside part of the plate for strike number one.
And a nice steal there by Biggio. Avila's been above career average in caught stealing percentage his whole career, averaging around 30%. Last year he looked really good with the Diamondbacks, throwing out 52% of the runners he faced, throwing out 11, just allowing 10. And an experienced pitcher on the mound, an experienced catcher behind the plate, not an easy tandem to steal off of.
No kidding. You know, the 33-year-old certainly a very ideal backup catcher because he provides so much experience, especially with a guy like Garver as your regular starter, bit of a younger player. Get a guy like Alex Avila in there who's been around, who's caught some excellent pitchers in his time back in Detroit and even now here in Minnesota. And a strikeout. There's number 6 on the day and his 1,000th career strikeout for Jake Odorizzi. Congratulations to the Twins right-hander, and it comes off of Randall Grichuk. So 2 away now in the 4th.
And what better way for Odorizzi to hit the milestone than to get it done with that splitter. It's his most established pitch and his signature pitch almost, as gets it down and in on Grichuk, gets enough of the plate that Grichuk tries to go after it and retires him now with 2 strikeouts and 2 at-bats.
A moment Odorizzi will never forget. A big career accomplishment. Congratulations to him. And he starts off with a strike right up the middle to Vlad Guerrero Jr., who walked back in the second. Runner in scoring position for the Blue Jays slugger. Takes a big cut on that splitter low, but misses. So now an 0-2 count.
Working right ahead, looking for 1,001 here for Guerrero against Guerrero to get out of this inning.
So the 0-2, Odorizzi just at 63 pitches. He deals and gets 1,001, Drew. So there it is. After allowing a walk and a stolen base to the leadoff hitter Biggio, he gets 3 straight outs, including his 1,000th career strikeout. We head to the 5th, scoreless in Toronto. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rogers Center. It remains a scoreless game here in Toronto. And Rocco Baldelli, in his second year as Twins manager, won AL Manager of the Year in his first season and put up 100 wins, the Twins did last year. So an excellent season for them. And the first manager in MLB history, Baldelli is, born in the 80s.
Well, and we saw before him, Paul Molitor won Manager of the Year with them back in 2017. And I think the reason is because a lot of people have underestimated these Twins teams. They surprised everyone in 2017 by making that wildcard game, and then they surprised everyone last year by winning that division so handily. This year, they won't be surprising anyone. They're the favorites coming in. We've seen what their lineup can do. Their pitching staff continues to get better as Barrios develops and the additions of veterans that they've made. And this year, they're the favorites, so don't expect them surprising anyone unless they make a deep playoff run, which is something they haven't been able to do yet.
So a strikeout to lead off this inning for Matt Shoemaker. 6 on the day for him.
A nice pitch there, working the inside. That slider's going to break pretty sharply in on those lefties, and so he gets it down in the zone, and Avila can't manage to get a piece of it.
So it'll be Jorge Polanco, the shortstop, 1 for 2 on the day, up now. Slow start to his year, hitting 196, but still leading off for the Twins. Rocco Baldelli, a lot of faith in him. And he fouls that one just past the third base line. Spent his whole career with Minnesota. Signed a 5-year deal prior to last season with them. Takes high, ball number 1.
Last year, he was the starting shortstop at the All-Star game. Quite an honor, chosen over the likes of Xander Bogaerts and Francisco Lindor. Nice honor for him there. And he also received MVP votes. We mentioned it with Eddie Rosario. Polanco himself finished 13th.
Hits one up the middle into center. Grichuk is not able to field it cleanly, so Polanco advances to second off of another error in the outfield for the Blue Jays.
That'll be it today for Shoemaker, but really the fielding there is almost unacceptable. Second time today we've seen that, where a center fielder, a Jays outfielder just straight up misses what it should be a harmless single.
So a pretty rough ending to the outing for Matt Shoemaker, but still a good one at that. Doesn't allow any runs, and allows just, let's see, 4 hits and a walk or 2. So a good day for Shoemaker, but it ends poorly as now a runner on second and 1 away for Shinya Yamaguchi coming in now from the bullpen.
Yamaguchi, a guy that's been trusted here quite often by Montoyo, already at 13 innings pitched in relief, and we're only here. He's here in the Jays' 17th game of the season, so 13 innings as a reliever is quite a bit for him, but he's been hit or miss so far, but a big inning here as this game is still scoreless, and Kepler's got a big opportunity to swing this game in one direction or the other.
And the first baseman in a 1-2 count. He's singled in the third, advanced to second on an error in left. And he takes low, ball number 2 now. As he fouls that low inside offering off down into the seats, past the first base line, Kepler does. He struck out in the first. And he stays alive with another foul past the first base line. And Yamaguchi here looking to get the next couple outs and finish this inning off for Shoemaker, who, like I mentioned, had a good outing. Just high pitch count early in this one. The Minnesota Twins doing a very good job of working him and being able to battle.
A great start, though. 5 1/3 scoreless, just allowing 5 base runners. No extra base hits allowed whatsoever as he kept the ball on the infield for the most part. Solid body of work despite, again, not going too deep.
As that one is popped up and it will sail foul. So now a full count to Kepler. Payoff pitch from Yamaguchi is driven into right field between the hole between first and second. So now runners on first and third here for Luis Arraez.
Runners on the corners as the dangerous part of the lineup comes up. The Twins, again, haven't had much cooking. Neither have the Jays. Here's the first big high-pressure situation. Runners on the corners. and the leading run just 90 feet away.
And that one is grounded into center field. It'll drive in a run. The first run of this game is scored, first run of this series. And it's 1-0 Twins off of a Luis Reyes single here.
And that's his first hit of the day, but he's hit a couple balls really hard. In his first at-bat, he stung one over at Travis Shaw at first base. That one could have been extra bases. Then he hit one hard to center field in his second at-bat. Here he's finally rewarded with his first base hit and an RBI.
So 3 straight hitters reach now for the Twins as they're in business. Already 1 run score. First and second, just 1 out now for Miguel Sano, who's 1 for 2 in the day. Sano takes low. That's slow curveball. So it's a 2-0 count now.
And back-to-back curveballs to start them off, both missing low. So now Yamaguchi's in a position where he has to come to attack the dangerous Sano more.
Doesn't quite attack there. Misses a spot high. So it's a 3-0 count to the cleanup hitter, Sano, with Josh Donaldson on deck and Eddie Rosario behind him. It doesn't get any easier in this lineup for Yamaguchi. 3-0 taken on the inside part of the plate for strike number 1.
Great spot for the fastball right on the black of the plate. Tough pitch to throw, and 3-0, you don't want to come right over the heart of the zone, but you need to throw a strike, and a great spot for that one.
Three-one taken just inside for a strike. Gets the call there, so a full count now. And that one's taken for a strike. Sano thought he was going to be heading to first on a walk, and instead he's called out on strikes on the inside corner.
Well, he misses that curveball a little too low in his first 2 pitches of the at-bat. Sano thinks he misses low here, but he gets the call from the umpire as Sano is punched out. 6-pitch at-bat, Sano doesn't swing at any of them, and the cleanup hitter is retired.
His second strikeout kill looking on the day is Josh Donaldson. Grounds that one softly, but it'll dribble foul. He's 0 for 2 on the day. 2 flyouts to center for the former Blue Jay and third baseman. And what he would like to do to drive in a run here and advance this Twins lead. So that one's fouled down the third base line.
And he's got the bat to do it. You can see Jansen jumped up there to try and get that ball before it went foul to be able to retire Donaldson before he has a chance. But 0-2 now, he'll have to do something to battle back.
Drills that one into center field. Grichuk ranging back to the warning track. Makes the play. And retires Donaldson for the third out. But the Twins score a run, the first run of the game, take the lead here in the 5th inning on the virtual Jays Network. Oh, and welcome back to Toronto. The Rogers Center roof is still closed. As we're in mid-April, it's still a little chilly out there. With the wind coming off the lake here in Toronto. As Brandon Drury, the designated hitter, steps in. 292 average on the year. And he flew out back in the second inning to center. And Jake Odorizzi dealing here. This will be his 65th pitch as he starts the 5th. And he's looked magnificent so far. Hit 1,000 strikeouts, so a milestone already achieved for him today. And now he's got the lead to work with.
And still just 2 base runners allowed, both on walks. Drury trying to spark something because the Jays have yet to get a runner advance beyond past second base. It was Kevin Biggio who walked and stole second and stranded there back just this last inning in the fourth.
That one's fouled off into the seats. So Odorizzi moves ahead in the count 1-2. And a swing and a miss there on that off-speed pitch. Drury will head back to the dugout. And Odorizzi has 8 strikeouts on the day now.
Drury went 1 for 11 against the Royals in the past 4-game series, only getting a start in 3 of those games. The one hit he did have, he came around to score, but not a great weekend for him. And so far, 0 for 2 on a day with a strikeout. Not a great start tonight either.
Shaw takes that fastball right up Young Street, 0-1. Now, the Blue Jays hitters have not had a good day so far. Travis Shaw 0 for 1, but he took Odorizzi for a deep shot to right. Almost got out of here. Gonzalez caught that one right on the warning track. If that dome's open.
It looked off the bat like it had a chance to go.
Sure did, as that one is hit into right field a little softly this time. And it'll be a 1-out single for the first baseman, Shaw.
First hit of the day for the Jays. That one goes right through the shift. Difficult to try and spot that one with 3 infielders over on that right side, but gets it through, finds a bit of grass, and now there's a runner aboard for the Jays.
First hit of the day for the Blue Jays. So, no hitters here for Odorizzi. 1 out, 1 on for Teoscar Hernandez, who struck out swinging back in the third. And that cutter gets past Hernandez, swinging on that one. Evens up the count now at 1 with the strike there.
That's been a good pitch for him today. Odorizzi's lived outside on the outer half of the plate against a lot of these righties. And now he's at 2 strikes. Interesting to see where it'll be that Avila wants to go with this pitch. In his last at-bat, they struck out Hernandez with a low splitter.
The 1-2 taken well outside there. An off-speed pitch. Evens up the count now at 2 to the right fielder, Hernandez. And a second strikeout on the day for Hernandez. And number 9 for Odorizzi in this one, as that'll make it 2 outs with a runner on first for Danny Jansen.
Hernandez was way out in front of that one. I'm not sure why swinging so early. He might have even been early on the fastball there with how badly he was early on that. But nonetheless, Odorizzi gets the strikeout.
That one's popped up right back behind the plate. Avila makes the play. So after a 1-out single from Shaw, that's the only hit of this inning and the only base runner of this inning. Remains a 1-0 game for the Twins as we head to the 6th in Toronto. Well, everyone, welcome back to Virtual Jays Network. Jackson Farrell alongside Drew Frank. We see some more action in the Blue Jays bullpen after Shin Yamaguchi was not able to finish off that 5th inning after he allowed a base hit to Kepler and then a base hit to Reyes, which gave the Twins the first run of the game and now the lead. As we'll see what he can do down the 6th.
And so Shoemaker looked good in his start, but pulled after only 4 1/3, allowing just the one run that he left on the bases, and Yamaguchi wasn't able to strand, came around to score, charged to Shoemaker. One of the reasons that Montoya is willing and able to pull him after only 4 1/3 is because he knows Yamaguchi's good for 2 or 3 innings. He's out here now in his second frame of work, but there's also Pannone and Gaviglio who can do that for him too.
And Rosario flies out to center. So the leadoff hitter in this inning is retired. Now it'll be Marwin Gonzalez.
And if you want to talk about rested arms in that Jays pen, we saw Jordan Romano throwing a little bit. He's yet to pitch in a game yet, so you figure he is 100% ready to go if they're looking for guys to bridge the gap here. Now the Jays already in their 5th series of the season. Sorry, 6th series if you count that Phillies one, and yet to see him.
And a good defensive play from Danny Jansen there. Gets up from behind the plate, fields, and moving to his left makes a great throw to Shaw at first to get Gonzalez out. 2 away now for Williams Astudillo.
And as a catcher, you're taught to try and get as far into foul territory or as far into fair territory as you can so that you're not throwing directly over that runner. And he is able to make a difficult throw from a tough angle right on the money, avoid the runner, avoid throwing it wild, and records the out.
So Astudillo takes that one inside, evens up the count at 1 now. 0 for 2 in the day with a couple flyouts to right. And that 1-1 is swung on, flown into left field. Gurriel coming into field, and he'll make the play. So 3 up, 3 down in the 6th inning for Yamaguchi. As we'll head now to the bottom of the 6th in Toronto as the Jays look to generate some offense here with their top hitters coming up. So now, here in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. out here against Jake Odorizzi, the starter, who is up to 77 pitches here.
Well, he's back out. We mentioned how they were trading punches for the first few innings. Jake Odorizzi now in his 6th inning of work. He's still got a pitch count lower than Shoemaker had after Shoemaker's 4th. Shoemaker got that pitch count elevated early with lots of deep at-bats, walking a couple batters. Odorizzi's looked really good, and just the 1 hit allowed still.
Very efficient day for the right-hander for the Twins so far. Misses up, so it's a 2-0 hitter's count to the shortstop Bichette, who's 0 for 2 in the day. Takes inside. The cutter just missing on the inside part of the plate there. So a 3-0 count now. And that one in there for a strike. So Odorizzi back in the count now after that fastball goes right up the middle. Bichette looking to break out of a funk to start this season, as we've talked about numerous times already today. That one's driven, but foul, way foul, in the left field stands.
Got a good pitch to hit there. That one caught a lot of the plate right down the middle. Good swing on it, but just a bit out in front.
So the full count is fouled off down the first base line.
Odorizzi working all the way back from 3-0. Now just a strike away from retiring Bichette.
And instead, he'll walk him, so the leadoff runner reaches there as that curveball missed low, and Bichette with a good take there. Now it'll be Kevin Biggio, who's 0 for 1 with a walk back in the 4th, was able to steal a bag although was stranded at second in that inning. Takes first pitch strike.
And here come the Jays now. Not much of a rally started yet, but they're poised to now. 2-3-4 coming up already with the speedy Bichette on first base. He hasn't had too many chances over on the base paths. We've mentioned the struggles he's had even reaching first base, but now he's there, and the speed he presents at the top of the order could be a factor if they're looking to tie this game up right here, right now.
1-1 is drilled into right center field. Astudillo makes his way over and is able to catch it for the first out. So a good job there by the center fielder.
The sixth inning already, still trailing. The Jays are going to want to try, if they can, to get something across against Jake Odorizzi to at least neutralize it as they get into the battle of the bullpens, because the Twins have quite a bullpen. Giles on the Jays leads the league in saves, but Taylor Rogers not far behind. He's already got 6 saves in this young season, tied for third in the American League, and that's in addition to Trevor May, who's very strong in that pen with a great mix and a hard fastball, very effective, and especially against right-handed hitters, who the Jays have a lot of in the core of their lineup.
A very well-built team here. The Twins are a team that had 101 wins last season. First time in triple-digit wins since 1965. As that one touches inside the right field line, it'll be a ground rule double for Lourdes Gurriel Jr. here.
Well, that's what they needed, a big hit. We saw Gurriel deliver a big hit on Saturday's game to spark the rally. It was a double from him. That time it was in the gap. This time it's down the line. Both times a pitch on the outer half of the zone that he takes to the opposite field, and just fundamental hitting there rewards him with extra bases.
So now second and third, and one away for Randall Grichuk. Center fielder is 0 for 2 on the day with a couple strikeouts, but he's got a great opportunity now to tie this thing up with 2 runners in scoring position, or even give the Blue Jays the lead here.
And he's been good when he's had to so far in this young season.
That one sneaks in there for a strike on the corner of the plate. Quickly ahead, 0-2 is Odorizzi here.
See, the 444 average, that's exactly what I mean. Grichuk in the big situations thus far has delivered.
That one in the dirt. Avila able to keep it close to him and keep his eyes on it, so the runners are not able to advance. The 1-2 to Grichuk. Taken outside, evens up the count now at 2.
Nice take there. Grichuk, we've seen him go out of that zone, especially with 2 strikes, trying to stay alive and foul off pitches that were out of the zone to begin with. That time lays off nicely.
That one swung on, high in the zone, fouled off. Keeps the count at 2-2. Odorizzi approaching 100 pitches here. This will most likely be his last inning. As he misses outside, now a full count to the center fielder with Vlad Guerrero Jr. on deck.
Another nice take. Odorizzi's got a base to put Grichuk on, but again, the big Vladimir Guerrero Jr. looming on deck. They want to deal with Grichuk right here and right now.
As Grichuk grounds that one over to short. Polanco fields and throws, but a run comes in to score. So a ground out, a sacrifice ground out, I guess you could call it. Gets an RBI for Grichuk, and it's a tie ball game here.
That drives in the Jays' first run of the game, and that'll be it for Odorizzi. So each pitcher pulled after allowing the first run, but 2 phenomenal starts on both sides. Odorizzi looked very good, and for a day where he picked up his 1,000th career strikeout, a pretty good performance all around for him.
So now we'll see Randy Dobnak come into this one for what will be his 8th appearance. He struggled a bit. The high average against both righties and lefties, as well as a pretty inflated ERA.
He was a guy that was in the hunt for that last spot in the rotation out of camp. Does enough to make the team, but not enough to make the rotation. He's been the long man for them this year, and someone that's been turned to quite a bit so far.
That one's right up the middle, past the second baseman. And that one, oh wow, that one went into center field, but the play was able to be made as that throw got in there. Guerrero Jr. tried a little too hard to reach for an extra base. Still gets the RBI, and the Jays take the lead here in the 6th. Welcome back to the Rogers Center. Now the 7th inning after a very eventful bottom of the 6th. After a leadoff walk, and then an out from Biggio, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. gets a double right down the line, a ground rule double. And then Randall Grichuk with a ground out to short nets an RBI to tie the game up. And then Vlad Guerrero Jr., the very next hitter up, hits a single past Reyes into center, which generates an RBI. The Jays take the lead, but then Guerrero Jr. tries to go to second on the play and is easily thrown out there by Astudillo. So some questionable base running for the third baseman for the Jays, but he still does get them an RBI and the lead here.
And that's the headline. That's the takeaway. The Jays pull the first run in on an RBI, ground out the second one, a single where Vlad's thrown out. But what matters is now they've got the lead, and after not generating anything off of Odorizzi early in the game, now they're in a chance where they've got a lead. They're just trying to hold it now.
As Shinya Yamaguchi gets Avila to strike out for the 3rd time today. As we'll see the top of the lineup now, Jorge Polanco, Kepler, and Reyes potentially coming up. As Thomas Pannone, the lefty, comes into the game in his 7th appearance of the season.
And he's yet to allow a run. He's looked very strong. So far, we've seen him mostly against lefties as opposed to righties, but he hasn't allowed a single base runner to either handedness.
That one's bunted down the third base line and just grounds foul there. That was a good bunt attempt. Guerrero Jr. was closing in on that quickly. Polanco, the shortstop, 2 for 3 in the day. Swings and misses there. And this count is 0-2 quickly here. Pannone working ahead.
Polanco showed bunt in his first at-bat as well. Wasn't able to get that down either.
And this time that's a slow roller right in front of the plate. Jansen fields and makes the play. 2 away now.
After 2 failed bunt attempts and 2 different at-bats, it's the swinging bunts as he just gets right over top of that ball, enough of a piece of it to nub it into fair territory, but Jansen quickly retires him just in time. So now lefty on lefty, it'll be Max Kepler. You got to figure this is why Pannone's in the game. And Kepler's an interesting hitter to talk about. A big story from him last year was he exploded in a stretch during the middle of the season against the Indians, where he hit, not last season, back in 2018, where he hit 5 home runs against Trevor Bauer in 5 consecutive plate appearances. And if you haven't seen it, Trevor Bauer's got a YouTube channel where he talks about all sorts of baseball content, some really insightful stuff, and he did a video just recently, this past spring, outlining exactly what happened with Kepler there. And he talked about how Kepler grew as a hitter to really establish his ability to hit those up and in pitches. The report on him was that he couldn't handle the fastball and he couldn't do much with breaking balls down in the zone. Instead, now reinventing himself over the past couple of winters, he's a bona fide hitter that can do just about anything with any pitch in the zone, including those low breaking balls.
And he strikes out looking there. Pannone able to hit the high part of the zone. So a clean inning in the 7th for the Blue Jays as they take the lead. Well, welcome back to the Rogers Center. Jackson Farrell alongside Drew Frank. This game moving along. And as we enter the bottom of the 7th, it'll be Drury Shaw Hernandez up for the Jays as they took the lead back in the 6th. And now look to possibly extend that lead against Randy Dobnak. As that one's drilled in the left center field. Astudillo there, makes the play. One away.
2 pitches and 2 balls hit out to center field. It only took Dobnak 1 pitch to get out of that last inning, but the way he got out of it was by giving up an RBI single that gave the Jays the lead. So not how he saw that situation going, but he's back out here now. We mentioned similar to Yamaguchi, a guy that he's going to be able to go multiple innings, a former starter, and he's already pitched now 13 in the 3rd in relief. So that's quite a big reliance upon him in just now 14 games for the Twins. In just 16 games for the Twins, rather.
So Travis Shaw steps in. He's 1 for 2 on the day. A single back in the 5th. And a 3-0 count now. Dobnak deals that 3-0 right in the top part of the zone to get a strike back here against the lefty Shaw. So after a foul ball hit there, Shaw drills that one into right field. Gonzalez ranging back to the track. He'll jump. It'll be off the wall and out of here. 4th shot of the year for Travis Shaw. And it's a 3-1 ball game here in the Rogers Center.
And it's been a great day so far for Shaw. He got the Jays' first hit of the game as he poked one through the shift back in the 5th inning that started what became 2 runs scored off of Jake Odorizzi as he put the first blemish against him. And now he adds on with a big home run. He hit the ball hard in his first at-bat that was caught by Marwin out there in right field earlier on. This time can't get to it because that one is out of the yard.
So the Jays lead by 2 now. Travis Shaw putting some real power into this lineup this year. And while his average may not show it, he's been very important. His 4th home run already. So now it'll be Teoscar Hernandez, who's 0 for 2 on the day, 2 strikeouts. Swing and a miss there on a fastball outside. 1-1 count.
Shaw leads the team with those 4 home runs, but Teoscar Hernandez not far behind. He's got 3 himself, including 2 in that first series against Boston way back in opening weekend. Hasn't been able to tap into that same type of power where he hit 2 in just 4 games, but added on 1 since then, and through a bit of a slump, he's trying to recall some of that power.
Takes low, so a 2-2 count to the right fielder. And he fouls that one off, so the count remains 2-2.
That ball lifted hard, foul. Dobnak really getting hit hard here with lots of solid contact against him thus far.
Another foul, this time on the outside part of the plate, fouled off down the first base line. And a swing and a miss there, 3rd of the day for Hernandez. And Dobnak gets a much-needed strikeout here in the 7th after allowing the home run in the last at-bat. So now 2 away, nobody on for Danny Jansen, the catcher, 0 for 2 in the day.
That strikeout gives him a chance now to retire Jansen without having to worry about turning the lineup over here in the 7th and getting out of what's been a difficult inning so far.
Dobnak quickly working ahead here, now 0-2. A couple pitches right on the outer part of the plate. And now he goes inside, Jansen takes.
And Dobnak now, a pitcher that also is going to work with a splitter. The 3rd guy we've seen so far with one. Going to be fastball splitter, and he complements it with a slider.
As that one is through the gap in the left infield, and a base hit for Jansen with 2 away here.
That's a nice two-strike approach. Doesn't try and put too big of a swing on it, just gets down and makes contact and pulls that one on the ground through that 5-6 hole for his first base hit of the day.
So Bo Bichette steps in, walked in his last plate appearance, drills that into center field. Astudillo gets underneath it and makes the catch. So Travis Shaw puts the Blue Jays up by 2 with a high shot to right, his 4th of the year as we head to the 8th in Toronto.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
So there'll be a pitching change for the Blue Jays here as we get set for the 8th inning at the Rogers Center. Blue Jays up 3-1, so Justin Miller comes in after Anthony Bass pitched the last couple days in the setup role. Justin Miller will assume the position today in that bullpen.
And someone that's really impressed me here, he's generated lots of strikeouts with his combo. A 2-pitch pitcher, it'll be fastball, slider. Starts off with a fastball here. Expect to see a slider soon. He works them both back and forth, and they complement each other nicely. One a little bit harder, that fastball coming in at 95, 96, and the slider with some deadly break in on lefties like Reyes.
Yeah, one inside. So a 1-1 count to Reyes. You see Ken Giles and Jordan Romano warming. Giles leads the American League in saves, and he is perfect in opportunities on the year. As that one is swung on and lined right over to the second baseman, Biggio, to retire the leadoff hitter in the 8th.
Good start from Miller. Only takes him 3 pitches to get rid of Reyes there. A guy that's difficult to keep off of the base paths. Came into this game hitting .370. One of 8 hitters on this Twins team that has an average over 300. And you know what? A large portion of those inflated offensive numbers are thanks to this past weekend where they swept the White Sox. The Saturday game was an 18-16 slugfest.
That must have been a long one for sure, but quite an eventful one at that. Fans in attendance got full value for those ticket prices there. A 2-0 count to Sano. Miller working with one away here against the designated hitter. And a big cut there on that fastball in the zone. Gets Miller back in this count, now 2-1.
A nice pitch. And Sano's worked some deep counts today. He struck out twice, both looking on fastballs painted in full counts.
He takes outside.
The second one actually was a curveball painted by Yamaguchi. A nice pitch. He caught the corner, and Sano was trotting over the first base. He didn't like the call, so expect him to be more careful if he gets a full count now.
And this time he will be able to make the trip to first after taking a couple pitches outside to get a 1-out walk with Josh Donaldson now approaching the plate. 0 for 3 on the day with 3 flyouts to center. And he's very familiar in this ballpark, having played, as I mentioned, 3.5 seasons here.
And we've talked multiple times across our broadcasts about the discipline that Cavan Biggio presents as a hitter. And both these guys here, Josh Donaldson and Miguel Sano, both great walk takers as well. Sano reaches there on the walk, but he has a great eye and has shown it throughout his career, and Donaldson as well. He was a part of a Jays trio back in the day that each featured a big power and big discipline. As him, Bautista, and Encarnacion could each hit their fair share of home runs and draw their fair share of walks.
I think that's one of the reasons that they were all so effective, even later in their careers, because, Bautista especially was already a bit older at that time, late bloomer. All three of them late bloomers, frankly. Edwin, Donaldson, and Bautista. And yes, power guys, I think Donaldson more so can also hit for average, especially when he was in his prime. But yes, the plate discipline on display that season and all their careers, really, I think it's what really turned their careers around, is the point I'm trying to get at. A 3-1 count to the veteran Josh Donaldson here. Rerun taken inside. So now it'll be first and second after back-to-back walks issued here with one out in the 8th by Justin Miller, as Eddie Rosario comes up with a chance to mount a bit of a rally here for the Twins.
He's already driven in 9 runs so far this season, in a spot here where he represents the potential leading run if he can keep things going. Just one away now, and the Jays in a bit of trouble.
See if Miller can navigate his way out of it, as that one is taken low for ball number 1 to Rosario. The left fielder 0 for 2 on the day with a walk back in the 2nd. Fouls off that pitch in the zone, evens up the count at 1.
And the one thing the Twins wish they might have is a little bit more speed on the bases. Neither Donaldson or Sano present much of a threat on the base paths, and you'd probably have to see Rosario find a gap here to even get Sano to score from second.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a decision you make when you're constructing your team as well. Do you want more power? Do you want more speed? It's clear the Twins love the power, and they have it. Some great hitters in this lineup. Rosario drills that one up the middle. It'll get through for a base hit, and the bases are now loaded. So no runs coming to score, as that ball was quickly fielded by Grichuk and thrown in. But nonetheless, Rosario with a single there keeps this inning going, and a real chance for Marwin Gonzalez with just one away.
And that'll do it for Miller, as in a very important situation, we see Jordan Romano called upon for the first time. The Canadian right-handed reliever pitched just 15 innings last year to not too much success. A lot of that dangerous 7.6 ERA you see came from 2 different outings, but he's coming in now, a fresh start to 2020, and man, he couldn't pick much of a bigger situation to see a debut, coming in with the bases loaded.
So Byron Buxton will replace Eddie Rosario as a pinch runner now. It'll be Marwin Gonzalez, who drills that one over to third. Guerrero fields, throws to second for 1, and a first for 2. So the Blue Jays, with some excellent defense and some poor luck from the Twins, escape the 8th inning unscathed. It remains 3-1 in Toronto.
Your attention, please. This change for the Twins.
Well, everyone, and welcome back as we see Byron Buxton, after he replaced Eddie Rosario as a pinch runner in the past half inning, will now assume left field roles.
The second baseman,
It'll be Kevin Biggio, second baseman, who is 0 for 2 in the day with a walk against Randy Dovnak. Trying to extend this Blue Jays lead. They're up 3-1. As that one is hit foul. And Biggio tried to hit against the shift there. Was able to spray it, but just past the third base line.
Interesting to see Buxton brought into this game. Not only surprising to see him pinch running at first base with 2 slower runners in front of him on the base paths in the last inning, Surprising to see him stay in left field. Of course, that's where Rosario was, but with the range he provides, you'd think you'd want him in center to move Astudillo out to the corner.
As Biggio strikes out swinging, so Dobnak gets off to a good start in the bottom of the 8th, retires the leadoff hitter. But yes, some interesting decision-making by the Twins there in terms of replacements. As Gurriel Jr. sprays that one into right field, Gonzalez ranging back, and he makes the play. So quickly 2 away for Dobnak here, needing just 5 pitches to do it in the bottom of the 8th, as Randall Grichuk will step up. 0 for 3 on the day with an RBI.
And that RBI chased the starter, Jake Odorizzi, from the game, drove in the run to tie this game up at 1-1 at the time, and an important RBI there for the Jays because Odorizzi was looking really good, and chasing him is what contributed to the fact that Guerrero Jr. was able to drive in what stands as the leading run off of Dobnak.
So Grichuk steps in, takes a slider, even up the count at 1. Checks his swing, but the pitcher's in the zone regardless. So Dobnak gets ahead now 1-2, working very quickly in the 8th here on these 2-3-4 hitters for the Blue Jays.
He's looked good this inning, but after some trouble in the previous 2 frames, the earned runs up on the board are not what you want to see in relief.
As Grichuk hits that one into center field, so a base hit with 2 away for the center fielder, his first hit of the day. And that'll bring up Vlad Guerrero Jr. with a runner on first and 2 away. And last time up, Vlad Guerrero Jr. was able to get an RBI on a single to center, and then tried to go to second and was easily thrown out.
What was important from Vlad Guerrero Jr. is that he was able to turn the double play last inning. Bases loaded, 1 out, in only a 2-run game. Romano gets a hard-hit ground ball right over the Guerrero Jr. He turns it. That time when he goes to second, he's successful as it's pivoted and thrown over to convert the double play and end the inning.
The 1-1 to Guerrero becomes 2-1 as he takes high. And that splitter misses low from Dobnak, so it's a 3-1 count now. With Brandon Drury, the designated hitter, 0 for 3 on deck. That one's driven into left field, and Buxton is there to make the play. His first defensive play of the evening, and to end this inning. So it remains 3-1 as we head to the 9th. It's closing time in Toronto. Ken Giles will be out on the virtual Jays Network. So there'll be the 8-9-1 hitters up now for the Twins as, oh, interesting. We're not going to see Ken Giles here. Jordan Romano is going to stay in the game in his very first appearance of the season as he goes for the save here.
Yep, surprising. We see Giles up and throwing, but I guess with a 2-run lead, they've used Giles all 3 games that they won against the Royals, back-to-back-to-back days, and if they can avoid using him here, I think Montoya will, and see if Romano can do something here to at least prevent the winning run from coming up to the plate now with a 2-run lead.
So it's Astudillo leading off the 9th for the Twins. It's an 0-2 count, swings and misses and gets a strikeout there to lead off the inning. So Romano with his first strikeout of the game.
and we've mentioned a few times, that is rare. Astudillo known for a bat-on-ball type of contact guy. You don't see those swings and misses, especially on pitches that looked like it caught the zone. You really don't see him do that very often. Known as a guy that can protect the strike zone, but Romano, so far so good.
Now the Alex Avila. Catcher 0 for 3. 6 for 20 on the season, and now looking to mount a rally for the Twins in their last chance to do so in this opener of a 3-game set. Swing and a miss there on the high fastball from Romano. Jansen loves it, and Romano quickly working ahead here.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job to attack. So far, he's gotten 3 outs on just 6 pitches and is 1 away from another strikeout.
Avila takes high, ball number 1.
Avila already with 3 strikeouts swinging on the day. 2 outs away from ending this game. You don't want to allow him to reach.
And that one looked like it might have touched part of the top end of the strike zone, but the ump gives it to the catcher, Avila. So it's a 2-2 count.
Jansen not quite able to pull that one down into the zone. So it's 2-2 now.
And a swing and a miss on an inside pitch there from Romano. So 2 up, 2 strikeouts here, and the Twins are on their final out of the game.
And that's 4 strikeouts swinging for Avila now. I would expect that after this day, he's done pretty nice behind the plate, called a good game, limited the Jays offense for the most part, but I'd expect you to see Garver back in the lineup tomorrow.
The golden sombrero being worn today by the catcher, number 9 hitter, Alex Avila. All swinging. So the 0-1 to Polanco here. Taken on the inside part of the plate now, 0-2. Romano looking very effective here, working ahead in counts. He's got the chance to get 3 straight strikeouts. And he gets it! He strikes out the side to close out the game. And Romano, with the save in his first outing of the season, gets the Blue Jays the win. They advance to 12-5 on the year and take the opener in this 3-game set.
Romano, his first career Major League save, picks it up in only his 18th Major League game and his first of the year. It's a great pitching performance from this Toronto Blue Jays staff. The only 1 run they allowed came around to score after a bobbled ball out in center field, so hard to fault them for anything today. Great work, especially capping it off. Romano faces 4 batters, gets 5 outs, 3 strikeouts, and a double play.
So Shun Yamaguchi will pick up his 2nd win of the season, while Jake Odorizzi takes the loss, although he looked very effective in this outing, picking up his 1,000th strikeout, 9 on the day for him. Jordan Romano with 3 strikeouts to get the save, striking out the side. And Travis Shaw, 2 for 3, a homer and an RBI. So some effective, timely hitting for the Blue Jays today. I think the big story is probably their ability to shut down the Twins' offense, especially in dire situations, being able to turn double plays and playing some good defense, at least in the infield today.
And that just continues from this past weekend. The last game of the series, a 1-0 win. We mentioned Giles was needed in all 3 of the Jays' wins that happened Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So you see Romano in there as a result of how close all of those games were, all very low scoring. And the pitching for the Jays continues to impress as they keep making noise here in this young season, just expanding on their lead, now 3 full games ahead of the Yankees atop the AL East.
And Shinya Yamaguchi goes 2 innings strong, 2 hits, 2 strikeouts in relief. Allows the hit that does drive in 1 run off of, and that was Polanco, who advanced to second on an error in center. But I think a big story today as well, Travis Shaw being able to deliver a home run, his 4th of the year, and been very impactful at the plate, although inconsistent, still effective, especially with the long ball.
Well, in low-scoring games, we've mentioned, these games have come right down to it, and a solo home run has the chance to change the entire landscape of a game. We saw in Philadelphia, he almost had the Jays come back on the back of his bat as he launched one out to opposite field. Here he hits one that when the Jays had the bases loaded and before they got out of that double play thanks to Romano, they could have used that extra insurance run. Here, of course, ends up being 3-1. That solo home run doesn't factor in directly, but very valuable, and if he's going to keep hitting, I mean, maybe you take the lower average down around 200 if he can give you that pop in the lineup that needs it.
And tomorrow, that lineup will go up against Kenta Maeda for Minnesota, and Tanner Roark will make his start for the Blue Jays, and that'll be the second game of this 3-game set. So the Blue Jays take game 1 against the Twins, and Shin Yamaguchi picks up the win, Jake Odorizzi with the loss, Jordan Romano with the save, and Travis Shaw, the hero today, driving in a big run, and the Jays take this one 3-1. So for Jackson Farrell and Drew Frank, we thank you for joining us today on the Virtual Jays Network. The Jays move to 12-5 on the year, while the Twins fall to 10-7. We'll see you tomorrow night for game number 2. Have a great evening.